Good afternoon. So this week you're going to complete a practice worksheet. Not a lot of creativity involved, but I want to see you develop and apply a very special skill called shading. And you can see the worksheet is just made of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shapes. And what your goal is in adding color to each one of these is to make each one, as you see these two, appear three-dimensional. And you're only going to be able to do that with shading. And shading, you see, goes from a dark to a light, a dark to a light, a dark to a light. And if you don't have that range of value, dark to light, then it's not going to look three-dimensional. It's going to look flat. It's going to look two-dimensional. So I know the paper is two-dimensional, but your job is to make it look three-dimensional, okay? And shading is the technique by which you're going to accomplish that goal. Now, I've got my pencils over here all sharpened and ready to go. It doesn't hurt for you to pick out your favorite colors, or at least colors you think you might like to use, and get them sharpened and prepared. That's just smart to have your tools ready and in good working condition, okay? I'm right-handed, so everything's on my right side. If I were left-handed, these pencils would be on my left side. Remember to give yourself plenty of room to maneuver, and that would be to move this paper around in ways that allows your right hand, if you're right hand dominant, to get in where it needs to be. Now, your first thing that you're going to do is identify a color, say this one right here. Decide where it goes, for example, this shape here, and lay it down lightly. Now, on the back of my paper, I can practice what light pressure is and what the resulting light value is. And I know this doesn't look like very much of a skill at all, but it is. So one of the skills you want to master to be really good at is pressing lightly and evenly so the light value that you achieve is very uniform, very much the same all over. Now you can turn your paper if you want to and go back over that surface back and forth, crossing it in a different direction, and that does help to smooth it out. And again, turning the paper, I can cross that surface back and forth in a different direction. You notice by not pressing very hard, I really never made this surface very dark because my pressure was always very light. But I did achieve a very uniform, consistent surface. That skill is important. Now here's another skill that's just as important. Learn to press hard without breaking the tip of the pencil to get your darkest value possible. This happens to be a Crayola pencil, but it's doing pretty well. Normally I like to use a different brand. Normally I like to use Prismacolor. So whatever the pencil brand, you use it, you test it out, you see if you like it. So here I go from a dark to a light. Now, instead of the same light pressure, I'm starting with heavy pressure, releasing the pressure on the tip of the pencil as I go. I can go back again, dark to light, and that might help to improve the smooth, uniform surface that I want to achieve, okay, as well as darkening my darkest value. This is dark, this is light. This is a low value, this is a high value, and everything between them is a middle value. Together, this is called a value range or a value gradient, like your grades, A, B, C, D, from high to low, okay? This is what you want to be able to do, and this also is a very useful skill. Practice both, okay? Now, on this side, getting back to this shape, which is looking pretty flat, so I'm calling it a shape. Shapes are two-dimensional, they're flat. I'm going to identify a curve here, and the curve goes back and forth this way. And I want my shadow, dark to light, to follow that curve. And the curve goes this way, right to left, left to right. So guess what? My shadow is going to go dark to light, left to right, following the curve. So now I'm going to identify the darkest area of this surface, maybe there, and I'm going to make it dark. So I have two extremes of value here on this one shape. I have a very light value and a very dark value, okay? The only thing I need to add right now are all those missing middle values, these right here, and then I'll be done. And I have to have dark and light because all those middle values exist between these two things. So these two things have to be on the paper to find what is in between them, what is the middle. So here I go. I'm pushing now, dark to light, and you see a result very much like I demonstrated on the back of the paper, going through a range of value, dark to light, releasing the pressure gradually on the tip of my pencil, and I'm going to continue with that, treating this entire surface, left to right, right to left, exactly the same. Notice how by the time I get to the middle, I just very lightly blend my existing light value with what's on the paper, and I'm done. I want to catch this edge here and this edge here, and fit those darker and middle tones right where they need to be. Tone and value are exactly the same thing. You can use those words interchangeably. In music, you use the word tone. I'm not sure what it means. Does it mean high to low? I just don't know. But it's used in music too. So here I go, dark to light, hitting my surfaces again if I need to. You see I am missing this area here. Let me go in here, coming in from my right, so I can work a little bit of dark to light value into that area, blend it out. A little more down here. I'm missing a few middle values. Your eye has to be developed. Your eye has to progress. Your eye has to learn. Your eye has to perceive all these very small changes in value. And that's it. That one's done. This top surface being flat, this is the top of the cylinder, accepts light from above, but because it is a flat surface, it can be handled in a very uniform way, all the same. No variation. You can vary if you want, but it's not necessary. Here I'm going to the back a little bit, deepening the back because things in the distance can be a little bit darker. Besides, darker here against lighter here provides greater contrast. I can see that edge better. So if you need to, darken an edge just so it stands out and you can see it. Likewise, this edge right here, if I want to go back over there lightly and smooth it out, fitting tightly to that edge, more tightly than I had done it before, I can do that very easily. All right? Now, this is also an opportunity if you want to blend your colors. And I can take any color and blend with this, but being careful to maintain or preserve this lighter edge. So I have a dark green here. I have a feeling that green and this orange-red are going to cancel each other out. They're going to neutralize to give me kind of a gray, which is maybe not the best color choice for this edge, but because I'm pressing very lightly and keeping the surface very light, a very light value, that super light gray color or brown color that develops between these two is all right. So you see you can blend colors, a little or a lot, it's up to you. So these three here at the top are done, meaning these four still have to be done. Let's take a look at a completed sheet. Your color choices are yours to make, and you can practice front or back your ranges of value to see what comes out of your pencil. You don't know what the pencil is going to look like? You're the artist, you try it out. Here we have a flat two-dimensional sheet, but it bends in space, and in bending becomes three-dimensional. Here we have a star that rises in the surface here, collecting more bright light, where the edges, some of the edges fall into darkness. And here, I'm not sure this reads as three-dimensional, but boy, did I have fun blending colors. Look at the orange and the reds that I put in the horns of this moon. These are the horns. Or this darkest value over here, which I'm going to add to with this green, that makes that edge looks like it neutralizes and falls into shadow. You know that neutralizing gives you gray or brown or some variation of that, and those neutral colors are ideal for shading, okay? Because this is what you expect out of a shadow. Not black, but something like this. This project is worth 50 points. Of course, you can earn more if you really knock it out of the park. You can earn 60 or 75. You can also earn less. So what am I looking for? Well, full ranges of value, dark to light, controlled application of color to the surface inside of these lines, stay inside the lines, all right? And complete them all. I want to see that much detail, that much craftsmanship, that much technique. All right, now you try.